off. Alright, and keep topping. Alright, ready?
Oh, jeez.
I did it! Let's go! What's up, guys? My name is Grimlock, and I want to be showing you some Elemental PvP one-shot guides. In this, I'm going to show you some talents, some gameplay, as well as some simple tips and tricks that I've picked up along playing Elemental Shaman in the pre-patch so far, and hopefully leading into Dragonflight. Let's begin. First, we're going to be starting with the talents I use for this build. Now, because it's pre-patch, we're currently a Necrolord, but I plan on just taking Primordial Wave come Dragonflight. But for right now, we're a Necrolord, so we use Primordial Wave. In the duel you saw in the beginning of this video, I wasn't able to use Primordial Wave, so that's part of the reason why the one-shot didn't take as was taking a little longer than normal. But basically, obviously we're Elemental. In the Shaman tree, this doesn't matter too much where you go. I prefer Hex, obviously, because we're PvPing, and definitely take Improved Lightning Bolt, as Lightning Bolt's going to be our main thing that one-shots people in this build. This is just a flat increase to your damage by 20%. I also take Fire and Ice for my Lava Burst, and as well as my Ice Fury and Frost Shock procs. Those are big and pretty important to this as well. So as we go into the elemental tree here, you can see we obviously take everything needed up top here to actually progress through the tree. I always take Healing Surge as 30% more effective on yourself compared to the 5% damage reduction, because this is pretty temporary. I mean, you have your fire elemental up a lot, but it's only like a 5% damage reduction for 30 seconds. I don't think that's very necessary. I think 30% is way more effective. Anyways, going on, definitely take Inundate, because when you're not getting instant cast procs of, say, Lava Burst, or you don't have your Ice Fury up, you're definitely going to be spamming Purge a lot. You're going to be hexing and wind shearing off cooldown, so most of the time that's how you're going to be generating Maelstrom, other than just getting procs of Lava Burst, as well as your Frost Shocks from your Ice Fury. As we go down the tree, definitely get Call of Thunder. It's just a flat damage increase to your Lightning Bolt. We basically just take every single thing that we need for our lightning bolts to be as fat as possible. We definitely need Stormkeepers. This is probably the most important cooldown in the entire build, as it makes your lightning bolt do 150% more damage. It only does 115% more damage in PvP, but it makes the next two lightning bolt casts instantaneous and trigger an elemental overload. Now that is huge, and I'll explain why in a second. We take Ice Fury, and mainly for this, the Electrified Shocks. This makes you do an extra 15% nature damage, so that combos with your Lightning Bolt as well, which is huge. And we also take Surge of Power. So this means that basically every single time we get our burst lineups, we're going to Earth Shock first, and that way our next Lightning Bolt does an additional 2 Elemental Overloads on top of the Stormkeeper Elemental Overload as well. So you're guaranteed at least 3 Elemental Overload procs, and then you always line it up with this as well, which is Power the Maelstrom. After you cast a Lava Burst, which with Primordial Wave is almost, I would say maybe half of the time, maybe 60% of the time you're going to get this to proc. It causes your next 2 Lightning Bolts to trigger an additional Elemental Overload, which works in tandem with Stormkeeper. That's guaranteeing you 4 Elemental Overload procs and really big damage with your elemental, with your lightning bolt. I just take this purely just to reduce the amount of Maelstrom my Earthshock costs, because I don't take my increased Maelstrom just yet until Dragonflight. So this just allows me to use 2 Earthshocks back to back, which is really big, pretty important. Going down the tree, I also take cast. This also increases the next lightning bolt damage by another 20%, which is huge. This also works with my Ice Fury Frost Shock procs, so these work great together. And then we go down, we got the increased elemental overload damage, which is huge. Obviously for this build we're going for as many overloads as possible, so this works amazing for us. I do take Mountains Will Fall. Now this is good, but realistically later on in Dragonflight I'm probably going to go more towards this side of the tree. once I can get Primordial Wave and then go into this side here, I'm going to end up taking either another Stormkeeper or Lightning Rod. Lightning Rod's just a 20% damage increase, so it's kind of huge. Obviously, this depends on your play style. Having 2 Stormkeepers is kind of massive as well, as you can burst and 100 to O somebody every 30 seconds is really, really crazy. Really, really strong. But Lightning Rod is also really strong because that just increases your burst potential that much more. But yeah, that's probably where I'm going to go. I definitely want to keep Echo Chamber, but I don't know if I'll take Mountains Will Fall. Now moving into PvP talents, because we're PvPing, we obviously get these 3 talents here. You get to choose from a list. Control of Lava is almost, I would say, 100% of the time going to be something that you pick as Elemental Shaman, as it just makes dispelling your flame shocks a little bit more deadly to people. So dispelling flame shock is like one of the things we want to prevent as much as possible, because your flame shock is what gives you lava burst procs, and if you don't have lava burst procs, this build is really slow to build up. So this helps kind of negate the slowness of the build up of this. And then as well, we take Static Field. Sometimes, depending on who we're fighting in team composition wise, I'll take Grounding Totem instead. A lot of times this is versus like mages, warlocks, shadow priests, sometimes hunters. You can ground trap. It's really good for your healer. Swelling Waves is also pretty good. Elemental Shaman's Healing Surge, because of this specifically, heals for a lot. I mean, you can heal for upwards of 33% of your health, so this is an extra like 15% of your health 3 seconds later, which could be pretty crazy. But nothing else really sticks out too much for a Shaman, Elemental specifically. Traveling Storms is interesting. I haven't used it too much. I think knocking enemies 25% further is good, but it's also really situational and should be based around the map you're playing on. Most of the time, Static Field Totem will just be better in the long run than Traveling Storms. And we almost always pick up Sky Fury Totem. I know it's easy to kill, but that extra 20% damage on your criticals is kind of insane for you and your allies, and also increases the one-shot capabilities of this build by a lot. But then again, you know, if say you're fighting a melee cleave with like a caster, or not a melee cleave, say you're fighting like WLS or something like that, you may want to play Static Field and Grounding Totem just because you're fighting a warrior and a warlock at the same time. It's good to have both. Most of the time, Grounding Totem is a better pick than Sky Fury defensively. So that's it for PvP talents, and we'll get into showing you guys how the build actually works. So just to recap, basically what we're actually trying to accomplish here is getting this proc, Power of the Maelstrom. Then we Ice Fury, we pop our Blood Fury, we pop our Sky Fury. We Frost Shock, because after you Ice Fury, your Frost Shock increases your damage from nature spells by 15%. You're going to Stormkeeper, Earth, and then Lightning Bolt immediately after. Those are our rotations. So you're going to Ice Fury, Frost Shock. You can Ice Fury even Stormkeeper, but most of the time you're going to Ice Fury, Frost Shock, Earth Shock, and hopefully you either has your Stormkeeper up by now or you're casting Stormkeeper. To guarantee that we cast Stormkeeper, we have Spirit Walker's Aegis, which allows you to be immune to silence. It's an Aura Master on your Spirit Walkers, so and you cast Stormkeeper at the same time. Earth Shock, spam Lightning Bolt at that point. You have all your procs rolling. You're going to do a lot of damage. So as you can see, guys, we hit a lightning bolt for 35,000 damage, on top of 7 lightning bolts instantly for 11,600 damage, an average of 11,400 damage. So we did over 115,000 damage in 2 globals with our lightning bolt there. That's not to mention the Earth Shock and the Earth Shock Overload for almost about another 30,000. This is a normal, and this is a crit. So if this crit, this would have hit for another like 20k. So realistically, we did about 150k damage in 3 globals. Now, I don't know, that's pretty fat burst. I would say that could kill pretty much anybody. But yeah, that's basically how this entire build works. I'm going to show you some gameplay in the next couple of seconds, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you. Bye. just wanted to say I really appreciate you guys taking the time to watch my video. Obviously, I'm brand new to YouTube. Some of the quality of the videos may be a little lower quality. I just figured out how to record in higher quality, so I apologize for that. My next couple videos will be coming out in the next couple of days to weeks, but please like, follow, and subscribe. Make sure to leave a comment. If you have any questions about Elemental Shaman, I'm going to be showing off some Evoker gameplay too soon, because I'm really liking Evoker as a class. It's a lot of fun. Reminds me a lot of my Shaman. But if you have any questions or anything, any comments, please feel free to leave a comment down below, and I'll be sure to reply back. Thanks, and have a good rest of your day, guys. Bye.